Well, no, actually, Janet, I'm interested in your opinion on this because I know you're a huge tennis fan. An overnight tennis star, Novak Djokovic, who hasn't been vaccinated against COVID, has given his first interview since he had his visa cancelled by the Australian government. They did that on the grounds that his presence could incite civil unrest and encourage anti-vaccine sentiment. Let's have a listen to what he said. Interesting, and he was very calm and collected, wasn't he? And he does say, Janet, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. He wanted to stress that. What did you make of the interview?
Well, he might say he doesn't want to lead the anti-vaxxer movement, but no doubt they'll look on him as a poster boy for making that remark and coming out and saying, I am not going to be vaccinated. And I thought, you know, I totally admire him as a tennis player. He was my favourite tennis player. He was absolutely brilliant to watch, inspirational to so many other young people, I think. But what he's saying effectively is my right to choose overrules everything. And I think that in this country, we have gone through the pandemic and we've come out the other side and infection rates are really plummeting because people in this country, the vast majority, put the common good over the individual right to choose. And then sometimes, you know, in life, you have to make that decision because we live in a democracy. We're not all people living in a bubble. We do need to live with other people. We do need to work and play and have social lives with other people. So in the end, I truly believe that being vaccinated, although it's a difficult choice for quite a lot of people, it's better for the common good.
But as you've said, we live in a democracy, which means you have the right to make up your own mind, which he's saying, it's my body, I've decided... And he hasn't said never, actually. He does say, he's not saying never, but right at this moment, he doesn't want the vaccination. And it did make me think, you know, our sports people, they maybe don't set out to be role models, but essentially it's like footballers or people at the top of their sport become...
He didn't set out to... Zuma didn't set out to be a role model, but by maltreating his cat and then putting it on Snapchat or whatever, he has set the most appalling example. With Djokovic, the whole business about his trip to Australia and passing these medical examination boards and then, you know, blurring the lines about whether he was vaccinated or not vaccinated and not coming out straight and saying it at the start and then saying because he had COVID, he believed that his immunity levels were high enough to make him safe. I just think that the whole business was so badly handled. And now, as a huge tennis fan, I'm worrying that Wimbledon and the French Open, which are two massive tournaments, whoever wins them will think, would I have won if Djokovic had played? Because the fact of the matter is, before all this happened, he was the #1 player in the world.
But then, Kelly, he is sacrificing a lot for his beliefs. He's saying, he said, I'm prepared, you know, missing the tournaments, but also losing a lot of money. We assume, like Janet said, he's the top player, probably win a lot of the tournaments.
I think he was really well thought out in his response. And I found what he said. I kind of had a respect for the fact that he was standing by his principles. And that takes a lot. He is standing to lose a lot by standing up for what he believes in. And he, like he said, it's not a case of never. And I think that's a lot of people's worry, that it's a bit soon and they feel like they want a bit more time before they're vaccinated.
He said he's keeping his mind open about the possibility of being vaccinated.
How long does he want? What's the benchmark? Like in this country, the government seems to be totally inconsistent because one minute they said care workers have got to be vaccinated. It's mandatory. So literally thousands and thousands of workers lost their job and a sector which was desperately short-staffed is even more short-staffed. Then they said national health workers have got to be vaccinated by a certain date, but then they back down on it. So
but
it seems to me they're inconsistent.
That's nothing to do with him, though,
but he's standing strong on his principles, so he is not backing down, even...
He's actually giving up his job.
But he's giving up his...
That's what people are asking. Is it selfish, Colin, that he's not backing down? Like Janet said, the majority of people had... You know, we were all nervous about... Well, many of us were nervous about the vaccine, not quite sure, you know, but we did it for the greater good. You know, I did it so that I could visit my mum in a care home. I mean, I did it because I believe in vaccines anyway, but, you know, a lot of people were taking the vaccine, having the vaccine, even then they had doubts. And then you look at him who's saying, I don't want it. Is that a selfish
No, I don't think
behaviour?
It is selfish, because it's freedom of choice. The same way if you'd have decided not to have it, I'd have respected your decision. You know, I don't want to put the people that have had it on a pedestal and go, aren't we great, because we thought of the rest of the country. Because I've got to be honest, I just thought I don't want COVID. That's why I had it done. And if it protects everyone else, great. But I'm not going to be this person to go, I didn't do it for me, I did it for all of you. I did it for me, actually, because I didn't want it, or if I got it, I didn't want to die from it, basically.
I think that...
And I think everyone has their own choice. I still know so many people, still including my daughter, who still doesn't want it yet. She's scared of it. She doesn't want it. And I kind of admire him that he's willing to put his whole career and everything he's worked on since a kid, because at the moment he doesn't want to have that vaccine. So
Absolutely.
I admire him.
And I think that principles in life can be so easily whitewashed by what people think, or by pressure economically, by peer pressure, by what other people think. I've been in that situation myself before, where I've, you know, been offered a job role that I think looks potentially really, really good, but I've had to think about my principles and what I stand for, and think about what comes first.
But
my
like Janet
or my
said,
job.
the vaccine take-up is probably hugely responsible for why we're coming out of the pandemic.
I agree. Yeah.
So
Well,
the
I
people
think
that have
not
had it
being
feel that they've been
vaccinated
part
is
of that.
irrational, frankly.
OK, well, it's one of those topics I'm sure we'll revisit. We've talked about it many times on the show, but that is Novak Djokovic saying that he would rather miss out on future tennis trophies than be forced to get a COVID vaccine.